Welcome to the 85th edition of the Sports Star Award Banquet. I'm Paul Sylvia along with Chris Egan, and the first star of our show tonight live on King5.com, YouTube channel and Facebook page is Max Borghi, star running back of the Washington State Cougars. He is one of the nominees tonight for Male Sports Star of the Year. And Chris, they've been doing this a long time. Yeah. This guy here has put the yards in this year. First of all, before we get to your stats and the new coach and everything going on over there, what's it feel like to be nominated for this award?
It's definitely an honor among a lot of great athletes here tonight. I'm super excited to be here.
How about, we look at your stats and everything, and I'm not going to lie, Max, I'm just going to read them off. You had 817 yards, 11 touchdowns, but I think what the big thing was you averaged 6.5 yards per carry. You had 4 games where you rushed for over 100 yards. Tell me about your season. I mean, it was disappointing, I guess, at some point, but boy, you sure got it individually. You had a nice season.
Yeah, definitely. Tribute to my whole team, obviously, but personally, it was a decent season. It was a step up from my freshman year. It was like 800 rushing and then like 500, 400 receiving. So it was good. It was a lot of fun. I just got to keep on improving those stats. I'm excited for the next season.
Who do you? A lot of people compare you to Christian McCaffrey. I remember when you came in as a freshman, and everybody says this Max Borghi guy. This is the guy to watch out for. Kind of, who do you role model your game after, and kind of your goals as you get ready for next season?
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey's obviously been a guy I've kind of shadowed for a while just because we're both from Colorado, both running backs. So I followed his career, and obviously he's kind of paved a path I'd love to follow. But I'm Max Borghi, I'm my own guy.
Well said, well said.
How about the new head coach, Nick Rolovich? I know you probably haven't had much time to spend with him, but give me your feelings about the changing of the guard over there.
Yeah, with the time I have had to spend with him, I can just tell he's a player's coach. He's a great guy, and he cares about us more than just football players. He cares about us as men. So that's obviously someone who you want to play for, and we're excited for him.
He seems like a fun guy. I mean, he comes into Seattle a couple weekends ago, goes to a bar, buys drinks for Cougar fans. I mean, this guy seems like he's going to be fun to play for as well.
No, definitely, yeah. He's all about Cougar Nation now. He's part of the family, and we're excited for him. He's excited to be here, and it's going to be a journey.
How much did you learn from Coach Leach in those couple of years, though? I mean, you as a player, you go through a lot of different coaches. What did you learn from him?
A lot. I mean, I owe a lot of tribute to him for my game. Obviously, at the next level, I'm going to have to catch the ball. So playing in his offense was great, catching a lot of footballs. And I think I led the nation in receptions last season, so that was good. And then obviously just a lot of different schemes. He taught me a lot. I mean, offensively, it was a different offense, not the traditional running back offense, but it fit me as a player, and now I think I'm just excited to prove who I am as a rusher.
Well, you talk about Mike Leach, and there's going to be a change with Nick Rolovich, but Leach has some stories about his meetings in the quarterback room. Have you had any experiences where Leach has gone off on a tangent with some of these stories? Maybe aliens or ghosts or Bigfoot or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. He will talk about whatever for way too long. I think if we want to make it out to practice on time, if he starts talking, no one gives him eye contact, because as soon as he gets eye contact, he'll talk with that person for 30 minutes. So like if we're in a meeting or something, we'll all just look up at the board and pretend we don't hear him, just so he'll stop.
I like that, man. A little insight there.
How special is the bond in Pullman? We hear this from a lot of athletes that go there, didn't grow up in the state of Washington, but go there, fall in love with this school for the rest of their life. You go around anywhere, go Cougs, go Cougs, go Cougs. If you see a Cougar hat, it's a tight community, isn't it, in Pullman?
No, definitely. It's hard to even put words to it. I mean, if you're a Coug, you know. So it's something special. I mean, Cougar Nation's a lot bigger than you'd expect. Everywhere I go, I hear "Go Cougs." So it's exciting, and it's just definitely a big family vibe, big tight-knit family, and a big college town. So yeah.
I love the confidence this guy, like you tell in your comments and things like this, your interviews, just for talking to us. But I love the fact that you went out there and you put the ball down in the middle of that football field and kicked a 60-yarder, I think it was. I mean, was it 55 or 60? I can't remember how far, but you were pretty proud of yourself that day and your athletic ability. I mean, is that just something you just keep doing?
I mean, I'm a kicker at heart. No one knows about it, but
hey, he's a kicker too.
All of high school, I kicked the ball. It was kind of different. I'd run like an 80-yard touchdown and have to do the PAT and then the kickoff, so I was pretty tired, but kind of glad I don't do it now. We got Blake Mazza for that, but yeah, no, it's definitely fun. I think it shocked a lot of people that didn't realize I could kick the ball, but I'd consider myself a multi-sport athlete. I guess I'm good at like most things except for basketball. I'm horrible at basketball.
That's all right. Was that a one-shot deal? Tell me, that's most trick shot guys. It takes like 20 times to make a shot. Did you make that on your first try?
I think that was my second shot.
Second
but
shot,
yeah, no,
nice.
I had to warm the leg up a little bit. I got more in it. I could probably go around 65, 70.
All right. But that, for the record, it was 60.
I don't even know. It was around there.
Come on, man.
I think it was
Don't
60.
get all humble on us now,
I
man.
really don't know.
No,
I'm going to say 70. It was
All right,
70.
that's
Hey,
good.
Pull up the video.
All right, we're looking forward to the next one, man.
Take
Good
care.
luck next
Yeah,
season.
thanks,
All right,
Max.
good talking to you.
Awesome.
Well, Jordan,
Hi, Jordan.
Canada, one of
Paul
the best.
Sylvie, good to see you.
Good to see you, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan Canada, the Storm, and coming off a great year with the Storm. What was it like for you?
It was great. I mean, my first year, I was, just trying to learn everything, learn a new system, learn a new role, be with some different teammates, and that was extremely hard, but it was fun. It was worth it. We won the championship, and then this past season, having a lot of confidence to come in and fill the role of someone who is so impactful on the team, and to take her place and try to lead the team as best as I could. It was very hard, but it was challenging. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, tell me about that. Like, everybody talks when you have a veteran like Sue Bird, and that's even downplaying her status, of course. But what was it like learning from her?
I've learned so much from her. The biggest thing I've learned from Sue is to just play my game. Don't get fixated on, the responsibilities of me having to fill her spot and to play like her, to play my game and do the things that I know how to do, my strengths, and bring it to the team. That was something that was really important that she kept telling me over and over again, and something that I tried to instill throughout the season.
It was fun to watch.
This team from last year, and I know it's about looking ahead to next year, your coach diagnosed with cancer. Brianna Stewart goes down with injury. Sue Bird goes down with injury. Yet you still find a way. You still make the playoffs. That says a whole lot about the Storm team and how dangerous you guys are now that everybody's healthy as you get ready for next year. How much did you grow from last year?
We grew a lot. A lot of people doubted us before season even started because they figured not having Brianna Stewart and Sue Bird that we weren't going to be a great team. And so we just tried to use that as fuel and motivate us. And everyone had that next man mentality to just step up and try to play a different role and just play to the best of our ability. And I think we did a great job of that. We put the league on notice that even though we didn't have our top two players on the team, that we could still be this phenomenal, dominating team, and we showed that. And now that we have them back, it's going to be a great season, and I'm looking forward to it.
We talk about the late Kobe Bryant was tremendous with women's sports and such a supporter of women's sports, of course, with Gianna and everything he's done and the contacts he's had and with people on and off the court. Can you give me some thoughts on Kobe?
I love Kobe, especially being a kid from LA, growing up watching him play. I tried to emulate his game. I loved his relentlessness, his fearlessness, how his work ethic was top tier, and everyone wanted to be like him. I did when I was growing up. And he was just very passionate, and to see life after basketball, how he was, getting into the women's side and, helping his daughter fulfill her dreams, and just to see him be a dad. That was something that was, we don't really get to see a lot as athletes because everyone just figures we're an athlete and, that's all we're focused on is our sport. But to see him thriving after basketball was something that was really tremendous, and I was very honored to meet him 2 weeks ago, actually at a private scrimmage. I got to see his daughter play as well, and just to see how she emulates him. How her mannerisms, everything that she did was exactly like Kobe when he was playing in the league. And it was just a beautiful thing to see because you don't see that a lot. And so it was just an honor that I got to meet him, talk with him, and I just love that he was so involved and so intentional with the women's game because of his daughter.
What a nice memory.
Yeah, and not that you didn't appreciate it, but it makes you appreciate every dribble, every game even more, I'm sure.
Of course. I mean, you have to treat every game like it's going to be your last, and, he did that, and he taught us how, to have that mama mentality and to go out there and just play your heart out, and that's something that you can't take for granted.
When you play your heart out, you were Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, you were WNBA named to the All-Defensive Team, you're an assist leader, you can score, but how much pride do you take in defense and shutting that other person down right in front of you.
I take so much pride in that, and that's one of my roles on the team is to bring that spark on the defensive end. So I know that, and that's something that I really love to do, and try to help my team as best as possible. But playing defense, I didn't used to like it at first, but now that I love it. I love getting stops on the defensive end and just helping my team out.
You talk trash, Gary Payton. Paul and I covered Gary Payton. He talked a lot of trash, but he stopped people.
I don't talk trash. I don't think that I'm capable of talking trash, to be honest with you. So I just try to let my game speak for itself.
Well, listen, I will. Before I let you go, it was great that you're going out in the community. You had the clinic the other day. That's important for you, huh, to give back?
It's very important, especially for young girls and even young men who are growing up and wanting to play basketball or any other sport. When I was growing up, I didn't have the luxury of having some people come back who were professional athletes come back and have that opportunity to talk to us, especially for women, because we play year round and overseas, so it's kind of hard to have someone come back and speak to you and give you that encouragement. So that was something that was really important to me, to go back and just to see the smiles on their faces, learning new drills, being great teammates, high-fiving each other, encouraging each other, and it's just great to be a part of that.
I'm sure it was a thrill for the kids too. Well, thank you, Jordan. We appreciate you coming on, and the season's just around the corner, so good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
okay,
Jordan.
great. Come on here, Brad Tucker.
Oh, here it is.
League MVP.
Seattle
Seawolves,
Paul,
two-time
every
champions.
Saturday night I was mentioning this guy's name. He just every game he was doing something. I mean, it was every night, every game.
I got to say that the publicity guys you got working for you guys, the machine is working, and you guys keep winning. So it's like, you're doubling down on getting the word out on this team. What a success story for the first couple of years and the 2 titles you've had. What's it been like playing rugby in the Seattle area?
For me, I missed the first season. I came in for the second year, and it was unreal. Honestly, I couldn't believe the support that this team had in Seattle already. It's the loudest stadium in America for rugby. Who would have thought 4,000 Seattleites could make so much noise compared to, I've played at home in big stadiums and nothing compares to Starfire on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's great you feel that excitement.
Oh, it's just awesome.
Yeah, Seattle sports fans, for a lot of their different sports, they like to pack it in. So, tell us a little bit about the sport. Do you feel like it's catching on in this area? Because at one point, people thought it was a very fast-growing sport.
Yeah, well, I think you still see articles every day. Rugby's the fastest growing sport in America, and I think for people looking for a slightly shorter experience, but still with all the contact, it's a great compromise with football, or something that even parallels in perfectly with the football season. And I mean, you get the big hits, you got the big guys. It's just over in half the time, so it's not a bad mix-up.
No, it's
season opener is this Sunday, right?
This Sunday in San Diego. That's the big rivalry
Tell
game.
me about, and I want to talk about your season you had last year, because you played phenomenal all year, but your thoughts on this year's team as you get ready for the season opener on Sunday.
I think you just look at some of the guys we've brought in, it's really exciting. I mean, some experienced Eagles players, some experienced overseas international players. I think you look at the squad and the depth's just got better and better. So as a player, it pushes you more at training, having guys competing for your spot. So just excitement generally.
Secret to your success last year? Look at this guy coming in. He's bringing in
the
belt. Let's see that,
That's
baby,
right
there. What was the key to your season last year?
The key to me last year, I think, consistency. I think just doing my job, turning up and working hard, and then the moments to shine, I guess, popped up. But that doesn't happen without a team that's built to win. And I think, my position doesn't often get a lot of praise. So I think having a team doing their job really allowed me to flourish in certain opportunities. So that was that.
Let me ask you this about guys that play rugby. You guys have to like to hit and like to get hit, don't you? Like you don't. I mean, you take some punishment out there, but you dish it out.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
You gotta like it both ways, don't you?
Yeah, you're going to get hit every now and again, but as long as you get them a few more times than they get you, I think you're all right.
I'm telling you, man, see this guy running at us, there's no way. I would do the old Choro, I'd just let him go. That'd be my defense with you. But have you had any kind of significant injuries in the past? Because it seems like a violent sport, so there's so much contact, but is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as anything. If you tackle properly, you're not going to get hurt, but there's those little injuries like change of direction, knees. I've had a couple of knees and a dislocated elbow, but they're just like landing wrong or doing a step and people landing on your legs. you know, like guy getting tackled and you do your ACL or something. You can't really avoid it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah,
so,
no, you're right.
But no, nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's good, man. You're healthy and smiling.
What's the key growing this sport in this area? And getting more youth involved? Is that the key right now?
For sure, the youth. I think where I come from at home, I started playing rugby when I was 4 years old. So I think that's the key. We've been spending a lot of time going into schools and teaching rugby. And the best thing about rugby, I don't know if you know, has a touch rugby, which is a non-contact version of the sport, and it's perfect for schools. So we've been trying to grow the game that way and get as many rugby balls as we can in the community, because I mean it's a different thing, it feels different. You can kick it as well, so it's just trying to show that you can do so much in rugby rather than just being fixed.
I think it's a great, I'm glad you brought that up too, because a lot of people don't realize that rugby, the way you're growing the sport is by doing touch rugby, and there's not as much contact because there's so many other things to learn about the sport to play well. So it takes the contact out of it, makes you think more cerebrally.
Well, I think the thing that what we teach is, you know, rugby is actually an evasion sport. So if you can avoid getting touched, you're going to avoid getting hit when you're playing. So obviously we don't just want guys sprinting straight at each other, because one, you don't go forward, and two, someone's always going to come off second best. So you can learn to step and evade people first, you're always going to win.
And you did that a whole lot last year. It was fun.
League MVP Brad Tucker, the Seattle Seawolves, two-time champs, open the season this weekend. Well, listen, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good luck
Good luck this season. All right.
Thank you.
Hi, Morgan.
Hello.
Morgan Weaver, one of the stars,
Morgan,
the
welcome,
star
How are you?
of the Cougars women's soccer team.
We're
Oh,
having-
we got
we got-
a brawl out here.
Hey!
Oh, where's the bouncers?
Hey,
Get
we gotta
Brad
get
Tucker back
We
here.
need security here.
Get Tucker back here. All right. Man,
I mean,
that's a
Morgan,
fun
now
thing,
you don't have
man.
to deal with the Huskies anymore, right? Yeah.
That's right. Well, listen, first of all, let's throw the softball out there. And what does it feel like being here and being nominated for this award tonight?
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I got it last year, but, you know, unfortunately it didn't all work out. But, I mean, there's amazing women, I mean, that have gotten this award before. And, you know, maybe one day I'll be it, and hopefully it is tonight.
So it's interesting as we see Harry and Butch fighting there, because talking to your parents, went to Curtis High School.
Yeah.
There was a moment you were going to go to UW.
Yes, there was.
Your mom took you to Pullman. You fell in love with that place. Talk about your career at Washington State, a magical ride you had for the Cougars. How great was that ride at Washington State for you?
I mean, it was amazing. You know, the team just clicked. I can't, it's so hard to explain because it just happened, and it was just something that was so amazing that we've been working for so hard. I mean, there was only technically one girl that was in my class. I mean, they're obviously redshirt seniors, but one girl, Katie Jones, and I were like, we're gonna go far this year. And her and I just knew ever since freshman year that there was something special about Washington State. You know, even though we did end up losing to UW this year, my assistant coach, John Harvey, told me, he said, it's fine. We're going to make it to the Final Four, and we're going to show everyone who we are. And, you know, it's kind of something that stuck in my head, that we're going to make it this far, and we're going to show everyone what Washington State's about. And it's okay if you lose a game, because it doesn't define you. It doesn't say who you are. You're going to show everyone who you are when you make it to the tournament. And I think that's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to come back the way you guys did, because your MO during the tournament was that you never gave up. You guys were never out of these games, and that was a great mentality from the coach on down to the players. I thought you had a great message for your teammates, though, afterward when it was all over. You were really adamant about saying, hey, we accomplished a lot. We should be proud of ourselves.
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously it's sad, you know, it sucks that we lost, it's heartbreaking, but it's something that no one's ever done at Washington State. And I think everyone was disappointed that it's over, but I was like, you guys, we have to look at the positives here. Like, no Washington State person has ever made it to the Final Four in soccer, or I don't even know if a lot of other sports. I mean, our alumni that were there, I mean, they hung out with us after the game too, and getting to know those women and just knowing their story and saying like how we were an inspiration to them, and all the young females that have reached out to me or other girls on my team saying just how we inspired them and how our team is inspiring people and saying like, you guys are doing so amazing, I love how hard you work, like that makes me want to work harder. And it's just something that it's special, and you can't forget that, and I didn't want my team to forget any of that.
What was your key? Both Paul and I have coached youth soccer in the Northwest. We both had teams. We've seen kids that have done well and gone on, but you look back, you had a dad that coached you for a little while, you went up to a higher level, you've played now with the U.S. team. What are some keys for you to get you where you're at now? And I know you're still going far.
I think for me, mostly was my focus and my drive, but also to have fun. That was my number one thing, is I always want to have fun, and I don't want it to just be like so much pressure on one person. Like, you have to have fun with it, because if you're not having fun, then why are you playing the sport you love? And I think for me, ever since I was little, I've always had fun with soccer, but obviously there's a point where it comes to all seriousness and you need to be serious about it, but having fun is a huge part of my game.
When you watch the U.S. Women's national team play, and now they're in the Olympic qualifying, they just rolled through group play. Do you watch them quite a bit, like when you have a chance?
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch every game that I can, and I mean, these Olympic qualifiers were amazing. I mean, can we talk about Lindsey Horan and how many goals she has scored lately? And that's going to be my teammate. I'm just so, and Tobin Heath especially. Christine Sinclair just broke the scoring record. All three of them are going to be my team. Like, it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah. With that in mind, take me through the draft. How special was that, and to hear your name called?
I mean, it was very breathtaking, I could say. I mean, I didn't believe it for a second until I got up there saying my speech. I just kind of froze, and I was like, thank you, everyone. Like,
did you expect to be? I mean, you can't even say that because you're very humble. But did a lot of people expect you? Did you expect to go that high?
I mean, no. I mean, I was reading everyone's thing, and some people said I was gonna probably go early second round, late first round. And I mean, going second was just wow.
Yeah.
It was breathtaking. It was a shock, and I'm so happy and I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and I cannot wait to get started at Portland.
Yeah, I think that we're getting waved off here because I know we always monopolize our guests here, Chris. So we have to let you go. So, but we appreciate you coming on, and good luck tonight, and really good luck with the future. We're looking forward to watching you play a lot more.
Thank you.
All right,
Well done,
Morgan
Morgan.
Weaver. Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan.
All right.
Now we bring in the probably best dressed here tonight, Paul, Mr. Hobbs. I mean, is he the? He's got the bow tie. He looks good.
Clearly, he's fit. He's working out, Chris.
Yes.
I mean, he was much bigger in college and in the pros, and it's like I got to ask him about what kind of program he's on.
Yeah, because I need to get on. I need to get on whatever. I need to get on whatever program he's on, Paul, right now.
We were just talking about how slender you are, man. Look at you, like
You
James
look
Bond
better.
out here.
Yeah.
Wait, how are you keeping yourself in shape?
Peloton.
Oh, is that it, huh?
That's
Our
it.
weather guy
That's
does
all it
that.
takes.
You need like 3 minutes of motivation,
Yeah.
get dressed and go down to your living room, and then it's like, once you get going, they just start barking at you. Pretty easy.
So you just buy in.
Yeah, you just gotta embrace it.
Yeah.
This night, just talk about this night. I mean, you've been part of this for many years now. How special is this night that they keep this going and take time to honor all these great athletes?
I mean, I think it's fantastic for the city. Obviously, city's so rich in the athletic tradition. To come back and recognize our stars that kind of shine above the rest. I think it's a lot of fun to be a part of it, and pulling for Matisse tonight. I'm a little biased.
Are you accepting for him tonight?
No.
Because we know he's not here.
I will happily do that if called upon.
Did you ever go one-on-one with him? It's just a fun game, and how tough was he if you did to get around him?
I actually was lucky enough to work out with him a lot leading up to the draft. One of my old coaches was out here kind of through his agency, leading him, trying to get him ready for the combine and for summer league and stuff. And so asked me to kind of come in and work out with him and talk to him. And there's not a lot of guys that are 6'7" that you worry about blocking your jump shot. He's got a unique skill set on both ends of the floor, but especially defensively.
And didn't you see that when I watched him play his last year? He was swatting everything, stealing everything, and I thought that was such a special talent because he was head and shoulders above everybody in that category.
Well, his twitch for how long he is just, I think, unrivaled, definitely at the college level, but really even at the NBA level. His radius of how much ground he covers on defense is a special talent that he has, and even transitioning from the zone back to man, it's something that, that's at any level that's gonna work for him. And I think he's had a chance with their system, the way they embrace size and length, to really demonstrate just how unique of a talent he is.
Well, when you're in the NBA, most coaches want you to play defense, and you have to embrace it. And to get a defender as high quality as he is, that's a nice thing for a team to have. I remember Nate McMillan back in the day. He was all about defense. George Karl, all about defense. And a lot of the guys, a lot of the divas, so to speak, didn't want to play defense. It's not that glamorous.
Well, he had a great quote in the paper today. He was talking about guarding Harden, and he's like, they pay these guys a lot of money just to come out and score. So the value of a guy that can just slow that down a little bit on the flip side is very high. And the way the league's going, it's kind of tailor-made for a guy like him to be able to thrive and have a long and prosperous career.
Yeah. Wow.
And sadly, we just lost one of the greatest scorers of all time. As you reflect back, just what did Kobe mean to you in the sport of basketball, sport that your whole family loves so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think for guys kind of in my generation, he was the dude. I mean, he was the guy that when you were playing against him, his validation was kind of what you sought, almost above anything else or anyone else. Kind of getting, whether it was a dap on the court or just a moment afterwards. If you got the respect from him, you kind of felt like that was a moment that you made it. And I was actually down in LA when it happened, and it was one of those things where you've never seen a community, a city, in that state of shock. At least for me, it was kind of a where were you when type of moment. And complete tragedy with him and his daughter, and obviously the rest of the people on board. But I think it's been really interesting seeing all the support for them and for continuing his legacy and what he meant to the entire basketball community, not just basketball community, really the global sports community, how well regarded he was on and off the court.
Let's turn it back to the Huskies, Spencer. You have a chance to go and spend a lot of time watching them play and the Mike Hopkins era. What do you think of the direction they're headed?
I mean, I think they're going in the right direction. Obviously, they're in a tough spot right now, but there's still a lot of season left. And you kind of get to points in years when it's going the wrong direction that you either sink or swim. I mean, they're not going to keep going forward, status quo. So they got to turn it on now. They probably had to turn it on yesterday, but they got an opportunity now to get on a roll, get to the Pac-12 tournament and see what happens.
Hey, man, thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you.
It's always good to see you.
I feel like I'm in the fifth quarter.
Hey, Steve.
Good to see you.
Congratulations.
Steve
Awesome
Hutchinson,
stuff. Newest Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Can you hold that real quick, please?
Thank you. What a week for this man right here.
Tell us about it, man.
It's been a whirlwind. I've described it, I think, twice tonight. It's like somebody threw me in a big washing machine, and I'm just tumbling around. I obviously find out Saturday I make it in, which is an emotional drain, and ups and downs all day. And to find out you're in, you're at the highest high. And then Sunday we go to the game. Monday they start us out, hit the floor running. Monday morning with orientation, it's like planning a wedding. I mean, I found out, and greatest part about it is I have a guy that's already been through this, and he can tell me what to expect. So, and then I fly home Monday night, literally wash some underwear, repack, and I fly out here Tuesday morning, and Schneider puts me right to work back in the scouting department, and which is great because I get some normalcy and routine back into my life. Otherwise, probably the party would have continued on for another week or so.
Would you tell Paul? I want him to tell you the story because I was working Saturday when the news came out, and I love the story that you said at the press conference about your son and you in the room, and you hear the knock. Can you just explain that and paint the picture, I guess?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much you know about the process, but basically, in a nutshell, you're told to be in your room at a certain time, 2 o'clock, and they said between 2:30 and 3:30 p.m. you're either going to get a knock if you make it, or a phone call if you don't. And so my wife, who she's got an Instagram and a blog and all that, so she's pretty savvy that way. She set up her phone with the video on. So really it was an hour and a half of me pacing on the phone. And then we obviously get the knock, and she captured the moment when I was kind of pacing. I was getting ready to turn around to do a walk back away from the door on one of my paces, and you hear the knock. And then so the first thing is my wife, my daughter, my son, and me all kind of have a big, emotional hug and answer the door, and it was great. It really, I couldn't have scripted it a better way.
Yeah, what a moment for you. We talk about Walter Jones now, and I know you guys are tight. But are you in this area a lot now? And tell me about your role with the Seahawks.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, John Schneider had called me up. I'm living in Nashville. I was working for the Titans in the scouting and some for a year or 2 years, and then I got away from it. I was at home, and John said, "Hey, why don't you help us out a little bit? You can stay home, work at home, but we'll have you come up a handful of times a year and do some O-line specific stuff for us." And I said, "Great," because to be honest with you, I've been looking for an opportunity to get back into the Seahawks organization in some capacity, get in the door, and kind of. Frankly, John is the reason that the relationship has been repaired, and it's great because there's a lot of people in the organization that were around when I was playing, And frankly, because of the situation and the way it ended for me professionally here, there wasn't a lot of communication. And so it selfishly, I think, I do it more for the relationship and to be a part of the organization. This city is great. Was great to my wife and I. It was our first home. We're really professionally, we bought our first house here. We love living here. We've got some great friends to this day here. And the fact that I get to come up here a handful of times a year and see these people and get back in the building and see guys like Walt and reconnect with Robbie Tobeck and see Sean Locklear and see all the guys that and people in the building that were around, going on almost 20 years ago. It's great.
Well, Seahawks Nation, I mean, they love you here. It was a powerful weekend. I'm going to go to the Super Bowl to see you stand up with that group and that class. I mean, what is it like to be now part of that fraternity? I know the official enshrinement isn't later,
Correct.
But just to be with that group of players.
Like I said, I don't know if it's 100% hit me yet now, but I'll tell you, they had us in this big suite at the Super Bowl when they announced this during the game. It was the modern class, the Centennial class, as well as the All-100 team. And so I'm rubbing elbows and I'm talking with Bruce Matthews and I'm talking to John Hanna, and I see Anthony Munoz, and I'm talking to these guys, and these are all the guys that I grew up watching. And it kind of dawned on me a little bit that I'm in that fraternity, and it really doesn't matter how much money you have. You can have all the money in the world. You cannot pay a dues. You can't pay a membership fee to join them. They let you in when you're deserving, and it gives me closure to my career since I was playing 6 years old. Football started out, all those hot 2-a-days in Florida, and when all my friends in high school were at the beach, and I'm running around knocking heads in 100-degree heat. All that stuff, it kind of just wraps it up in a bow and says, you did it. You set out. You did what you set out to do a long time ago. So it's a cool feeling.
Hey, Walter Jones.
Yes.
Hey, Big Walt.
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 Well, get on over here, man. Let's get him in here for one final word.
You want him to do
we're
this?
both
No.
mic'd up, so maybe he can be. Give me some thoughts on Hutch.
Hey, well deserved. I thought he should have been in earlier, but hey, when he got in, I told him, hey, congratulations, man, welcome home. And I'm happy for him now to get here in Seattle to kind of try to see what the love is about. He knows what that's about. So for me, I'm just waiting for the celebration with him, man. I think it's going to be great, and I think he's looking forward to it, too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's great to see you two here tonight. We appreciate you coming on, Steve. Hey, by the way, man, look, you're still a mountain of a man, but this guy's got it ripped up.
I'm trying to, man.
I know he was huge when he was playing.
I told him, I said, I'm going to get on that diet, too, so I get ready for the Hall of Fame. So
I just keep getting stomach bugs. So
that's the secret,
loss of fluids. I need fluid.
Well, listen, man, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right,
Awesome.
Steve.
Awesome.
Sean Locklear, too. All right, man.
That's
Good to
true.
see you.
Good to see you,
All right.
Sean. Yeah.
We're doing a little live streaming, so it's good to have you on, man. All right. Thanks for jumping in. So, please, hey, come here real quick. Jump on here, because I know we're going to. I'll use my mic. Just real quick, one quick question. Give me some thoughts on Hutch.
I love the guy, man. Like, me and Robbie Tobeck was just talking about how coming in, he was such a serious guy, a serious competitor, and he was always that way. No matter what he's doing, being in the locker room, getting game plans and things like this. And me as a rookie, I didn't know what I was expecting, but I knew that guy was bound to be kind of a Hall of Famer type deal. So always serious, but true competitor.
Yeah, fun to
right?
watch, man. Well,
Absolutely.
Listen, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Have fun tonight. Have fun tonight.
All right, we appreciate it.
You get Locklear, you get Hutch, you get Walter Jones. I mean,
Man,
it's a
all we
who's
need is
who.
like 2 more guys, and we can run a play, Chris.
Yeah, I tell you what.
The offensive lineman.
You got to think we could have got some
Hello.
yardage.
How you doing?
Hey.
Good to see you.
What a night tonight, huh?
I know. How cool is this?
Man, well, the Schneiders are here.
Good to see you.
How you doing, man? It's good to see you guys. So tell us a little bit about tonight and what fans can expect, because you're involved with the Paul Allen Award.
Holy cow. Just super honored, especially with the Paul Allen. I had an opportunity to be so close to a man that was, his philanthropy was off the charts. He wanted to change the world, and as long as we, whatever intent we can make with autism, Tracy and I are going to do it. And, to be able to do it on a football front is it's overwhelming, and it's a huge blessing.
It means a lot to you to get out and not only just with yourselves but with the Seahawks organization to get out and give back to the community. And it's great to see you both out as much as you are. Hey, how much do you enjoy it?
Thank you. I mean, we love it.
She enjoys it way more than I do.
He really likes to come home at 10 o'clock at night and sit on the
right?
couch. Yeah, these are date nights. I know, he had to end his meetings early today so we could come here. No, we're so blessed and we're so fortunate, and we love this community, right? This community has helped us really grow Ben's Fund into something that is something we never ever could have expected. So the fact that we have so many supporters and so many, people that are rallying behind the cause to help us help those who really need the financial assistance, have kids and young adults with autism, to help them on their journey, to help those kiddos become everything they can be. I mean, we live it every single day with our son Ben, so the fact that we can turn around and help someone else help their child, that's the greatest gift that we can give outside of our own family, and it's amazing to see what it's grown into.
You guys have done so much with Ben's Funds. Just give everybody an update, where we're at. I always see you guys obviously at the big Seahawks dinner, and it's such a great event. Give everybody an update there on that.
So we have raised over $4.5 million. And we last year we gave away our 2,000th grant, so we are well over 2,000. And I'm part of the Ben's Fund committee, and we have a Ben's Fund manager, and they're both here tonight. And it's amazing the village that you build and the people that help us with the event. We wouldn't be here without them. So it really is amazing that the village that pulls together to really help people, and that's the biggest thing. And it all comes back to me too. It's like I look at Ben and I'm like, God, do you understand what you have created? And I try to create that impact for him. He doesn't, but I still come home and I tell him, I was like, Ben, I reviewed grants today and we gave away this and this and this and this because I want it to make an impact for him too.
Does he realize how many lives he's affected?
No.
I don't think he does. Yeah, I don't know if that's on his realm.
It would make him anxious and nervous in a good way.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to handle it.
Let me ask you this, since you say this is date night and John likes to come home early and sit on the couch, maybe watching what is he watching? Is he watching like true crime shows? Give me a little taste of Inside the House. What does he watch?
He's watching film on his iPad.
Come on, he can't be that boring.
It's really sexy.
It is. I can't wait till he comes home at night.
You ever critiquing the film with him? No?
Wow, what a thrill.
Do the boys get in there and help you out with the film?
Jack has started too,
Yeah, Jack's done a little bit. Netflix, though, we get into Netflix a little bit.
We do watch Netflix a little bit sometimes.
Binge watch?
No.
No, nothing.
We
No
don't
time for that.
Can't last that long.
You got like 1 hour.
Watching. We're lucky to get an hour. Yeah.
Oh, listen, it's great to see you both.
No,
Thank
we
you very much.
really appreciate you guys' support and the whole community. Seattle's an amazing giving community, and we were so excited to come back here in 2010, and we just hope to keep doing it as long as we possibly can for everybody.
Yeah, well, you guys are leading the way.
Thank you
sure.
guys.
So,
Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hey, who you drafted? Are you keeping a pick or no?
Have fun, you guys. Thank you.
Great seeing you.
You guys,
Okay.
good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Devin Harrison now.
Good to see you again.
You too.
There's Pat. Devin, good to see
Oh,
you.
man. All right, we get to talk Olympics now. Chris, of course, is going to be heading out there in July for about, 6 weeks or so. Nevin, of course, is going 17 years old, first world champion, U.S. world champion in canoe and kayaking.
Look at you know it.
Hey, you know what? I've watched enough of your stories, Chris. But Nevin, first of all, what's it like for you to be here tonight before we get into all the great accomplishments?
I mean, it's crazy. All the people here I'm like meeting left and right. Like,
in awe about how cool they are. I'm like so honored to even like be considered to be here. So it's like been crazy to see how many like sport powerhouses are coming out of Seattle.
We're talking about your training because I can see the guns and everything. And when you watch the video, if you have a chance, just go to YouTube and watch Nevin Harrison. I mean, she is just a beast in the canoe, and I mean that the best way. It's really fun to watch you just excel in the way you just. It looks like such a grueling sport, and it's all on you.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely is tough on the body, but you know, I think if you love anything enough, you're willing to do what it takes. So. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a funny looking sport, I'm not going to lie, but I love it, and I think it's so fun.
For everybody, and Nevin is up for Female Athlete of the Year tonight, Paul, but give a little history on canoe, the World Championships. They took place in Hungary.
Yeah.
For everybody that doesn't know about this sport, tell us a little bit about you winning. It wasn't just winning an event. Tell us a little bit about.
I mean, I'm not the most informed about the history, but I do know that the women were debuting this event in Tokyo, which is like a huge deal because the men have been in it for 100 years. So it's so exciting to kind of be like leading this charge into an Olympic sport that hasn't really been around. So yeah, I mean, it's because it's such a new sport, people are still kind of finding out what it is.
But in Hungary, it's not new. There was 20,000 people there, right?
Yeah, Hungary was huge. I mean, it's the national sport there, so it's not a new thing, but definitely in the States, it's like, I hope up and coming. So, yeah, it's big to be able to represent the U.S. at something as huge as the Olympics and like the first time ever.
People that may not know this about racing in a canoe, you're not going like this, like I would have thought. You're up on one knee, right? What's the most difficult thing when you're doing that? I mean, it's got to probably be a lot about your form, but what's the most difficult thing?
Going in a straight line. Yeah? Absolutely.
I would agree.
You can't go either way, right?
No, you can't. But then also, like when wind is pushing you one way or the other, it's like fingers crossed, hope for the best, because sometimes you can't really control it. Like, you can ask the rowers, the wind pushing your boat, a boat so tiny, in such big water, it's really like you need to hone in that skill before you even like consider getting on a race course.
Because you're pulling with such force, I would imagine your boat, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of figuring out what works for you, because every athlete's super different with how they sort of go straight. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like all in the technique and like learning how to do it.
This stuff is obviously flattering. It's nice. You're getting a lot of attention. How do you keep that drive going? I mean, obviously you have a goal, and it's in Tokyo. And you want to do some damage there, don't you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's tough there's so many distractions and so many cool things going on. But I know deep down, none of it matters if I'm not accomplishing what I want. So I think in my head, all I can think about is Tokyo, the podium, those kind of things. And just remembering those goals and like keeping that in my head as I go, because if not, I'm going to get way too distracted with all this cool stuff going on.
And going into it, I mean, I would imagine you have to pace yourself at this point, because you have a regimen. Do you have any time off? Do you give yourself your body a break?
Yeah, in the last couple months, like December and January, it's been kind of more of a chill, kind of rehab, like figuring out how I'm going to really tackle this year. But just on Saturday, I'm heading down to Florida and starting a 2-month training camp. So now it's kind of all in, fully going. But I just had a little bit of a rest, but not anymore.
Do your parents have a chance to go with you on these things?
You know, they get to go to a little bit. My mom I have the NBC Media Summit in March, I believe, and she's coming with me to that. But with the training camps, it's mostly just by myself, with the team, or with whoever. Yeah.
You have to be so driven to do this sport, because it is just you. And, I mean, do you use anything for motivation? Like, a lot of us have enough problems motivating ourselves to work out in the morning and just get going.
I'm right there with you.
Hey, like the rest of us for a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, especially somewhere like Seattle, where it's literally dumping down rain every single day. It's definitely like, I'm like, okay, we can do it, because you don't want to get up at 7 a.m. and get on the water in the pouring rain. That's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. It doesn't matter how much you love your sport. It's not fun. So I think, again, like what I said, keeping that goal, it's like you wake up and you remember, oh, the Olympics are in 170 days. I need to get out of bed and go. So So it's definitely been a journey of learning how to self-motivate and figure out how to do it. Because yeah, I mean, I'm by myself. There's not a huge number of people being like, do it. Yeah.
17 years old. You've only been doing this for what, 5 years? Is that?
5 years.
So I mean,
Almost
5 years.
6. Almost 6.
Well, let's just keep it at 5 because there hasn't been 6 yet.
Not yet.
So we'll just say it's 5.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, that's a very short period of time to train and win a gold medal world championship in that time. That's just so impressive.
I still am like, I'm still just so surprised I did it. I like think about it every time and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that actually happened. It's like, I literally have dreamed of that forever. And 5 years, I thought it was going to take me 20, but.
Well, you were just starting. Have fun tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck with it.
It's a fun night. Great to have you
for
here.
sure. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
We're looking forward to watching you in several months getting after it. So.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Evan Harrison.
Evan Harrison,
world
Team
champion.
USA, world champ. Yeah, Paul. We got Rolovich next. Go Cougs. I was just bragging you up because I was working tonight. Yeah. Twitter world in Seattle. We hear you're in Seattle. You wanted to go to a place. Cougar fans are showing up. The guy right next to me, Joel Knapp, leaves work early so he can go hang out with you. And we had a beer? He had a beer with you. Well, I mean, I had a beer with Joe. I got to tell you, that was a pretty cool night.
It was very cool. Very organic, they told me how many Coug fans there were over here. And I said, I had time. I said, let's see how social media can be used in a positive way to bring Cougs together.
And what's it been like for you so far? And it's been, I'm sure, just a rapid train rolling, but how about recruiting? And how do you feel about this, the recruiting class and the way things are went?
Well, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to 2021. How great can we make the 2021 class? I appreciate all the kids that committed to Coach Leach, and I appreciate the kids that, this isn't an easy thing to go through a coaching change. Whether you're on the team, whether you're committed, where you're signed, it's very tough as an 18-year-old kid. So getting to earn their trust was priority number one for myself and the staff.
And did I read correctly where you reached out to every one of those recruits and you were able to keep all but one?
I tried to.
Yeah.
I know.
I know I'm asking questions you really can't answer.
And it gets a very talented kid from Kentwood that I've been watching for the past 4 years as well. Your coaching staff named them earlier this week. How important was it to get the guys around you named and get that staff ready to go?
Well, you get one chance at this. You got to make sure you get the right people around you that care about the similar values and have similar goals. And that's not only just winning, but seeing if we can make these kids into. And I know I say it a bunch, but we also get your degree, play football, but we're shooting out tomorrow's fathers, husbands, and community leaders, and you got to surround these kids with people who believe that in their heart.
You said a lot of great things as we continue our conversation with Nick Rolovich, the Cougars' new head coach. You said some great things in that opening press conference, and the one that stuck out to me at the end was about Apple Cup. And someone said 2 words, Apple Cup, and you said, what, 3 numbers or something, or 3 words, and you let him know. I could tell by the look in your eye, and you were deadpan, that you know when the next Apple Cup is to the day.
I don't know who that guy was who said that. People said, "Oh, you planted that." I said, "I don't know that. I didn't plan that guy." And I was saving that number for the basketball game that night, to be honest with you. But he came with that, and I just fired out the numbers.
Yeah.
So.
Quick on your feet, man. That was solid.
Well, you got to be quick.
Yeah, that was solid.
All those ladders, you got to get on that
That's
ladder.
why people thought it was. They thought it was planned because you nailed it. No, but I love the fact that you were just like, you know what? You know how important the Apple Cup is.
Well, he came at me a little bit, so I said, "Here, I'll give you a little."
What do you bring from Hawaii? Your experience there. You had a great time there. What are you going to bring from that program to Wazoo? You learned a lot there. You had a lot of success there.
But I want to bring the same things I think I brought to Hawaii. I want these young men to feel like they have somebody that is a positive leader and somebody they can count on outside of football. I mean, this is a hard time for young people, whether it's social media, whether it's school, whether it's football, and you got to be for that. You got to be there for them outside of the X's and O's.
Let me ask you this: when you're talking about Pat Chun. When this job opened up, because I know you have a strong relationship with Mike Leach, and he had a high endorsement of you when you took the job. What was it like when you got that phone call that the Cougs were even interested?
For me, this was the place for me to take my next step. Offensive personnel, yeah, that's an easy one, right? We transition easy there. I really like the passion and the values of the fan base. I like the region of the world. I will now be raising my family, and I think that's attractive to me. And maybe it's not for everybody. I don't care. It was great timing for me, and it was a lot of the things I was looking for myself and my family to take that next step.
Did Mike Leach give you one more question? Did Mike Leach give you any tips on living in Pullman? Like, are you going to walk 3 or 4 miles to work every day like he did? Or?
I was walking in Hawaii. I think
not through snow, right?
No, I went through snow. But I actually think that's a beneficial exercise.
Coop Country, he's going to go to Coop Country, get a burger there.
I've done that a couple times already.
Although I am disappointed the hat's not on tonight, but that's.
They told me I couldn't wear the hat.
Oh,
you got to wear your suit.
I love that.
I
love that. Yeah, that would be a quick trademark, man.
We were chatting with Max Borghi a few minutes ago up here. What do you see from him? It just seems like he's got.
How do you have that many catches out of the backfield? I mean, this guy's got some definite talent catching the football. I think he'll get the ball handed to him a few more times as we get going with what we do offensively. But competitor, hard worker, very diligent in everything he does. Just was able to witness him, not only how he works in the weight room, how he interacts with teammates, but little things like, everything at the nutrition center. He's listening. He's trying to execute. He wants to be as good as he can be as a football player, and I've enjoyed meeting him as a young man, so I'm excited for him.
It's important for you to have a leader like that to go with some other leaders on this team, huh?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to run this team.
That's right.
It
won't be you.
ain't me.
It's going to be staying in the back seat.
That's right. Call this play. No, it really is. Whose team is this? I mean, I know I'm in charge of it on paper, but one of these guys, some of these guys on this team need to figure out what is the destiny of this football team going to be.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it on the field, Coach.
Thank
you for coming on, Nick.
Yeah, nice to meet
Nick
you guys. Good to have you guys.
We'll be seeing him again. Hopefully.
Can I leave?
You can be there.
All right, see you later.